Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your girl JoJo, and I'm here with the review for Ready to Love. I see a lot of people putting season 7 up, but when I go on the OWN network, it says season 6, so I don't know. But this is, I'm gonna say, season 6, episode... Are we at episode 5, Miami? You know I'll have it right on the screen. Y'all know how I do. I am relaxing. Y'all, it has been quite a long night and day. My friend's car got towed, and I think that I'm going to take her to get her car. I go out and look at my tires, and it's flat. I got a flat tire. So, yeah, went through a whole bunch of stuff, y'all. The doggone discount tire place, they power went out. As they were working on it, but they ended up getting it done. And so my car is done and I was able to go pick it up, but it has been quite the day and I'm exhausted. I actually came back and got back in the bed. So if I sound rested, it's because I'm doing this review laying down. All right. So, Ready to Love. I am in the process. I'm watching and reviewing as I go. And we have, them picking up from where we left off last week. So, nobody ends up getting eliminated. Y'all know I hate when they do that. I hate when they renege on the rules. But this time, I can kind of understand why they did it. Justice wasn't really there, so it wasn't fair to eliminate him, and he was absent, although it could have been fair. And they're going to give the 3 gentlemen who were on the chopping block, which was LJ, Zoe, and Justice, they're going to give them another chance. So, with this other chance, nephew Tommy meets with them, and when they go in, Justice gonna say, you know, Tommy the OG, he been married over 21 years. Stop these lies. Stop the lies. But let's move forward. He tells the gentleman that he really wants them to kind of step it up. So he lets them know the things that the ladies are saying about them. LJ, you're coming off as a lover boy, not really serious. Although I honestly feel like the only person who felt that way strongly felt that way was Shakira. But he said he can't help but be the lover island boy. He's the island boy. That's who he is. Okay, I won't do it no more. All my Caribbeans out there, I won't do it no more. Who else? Justice. He doesn't go hard at nephew Tommy like that. He doesn't go back and forth with nephew Tommy when nephew Tommy lets him know that he's not really in pursuance of the women. He doesn't go as hard as he would normally go with the ladies. He just kind of was like, you the OG, I'm a respect it. But Justice basically says that they're dealing with multiple women. And if multiple women are going to be talking to each other about them pursuing, he doesn't want to get wrapped up and be the subject of anybody's phone conversations of what he doing and what he not doing. Okay, Justice. Zoe, I think his critique was that he has some guards up, and Zoe does admit that he does have a guard up, and he knows that if the ladies are saying that, then maybe he needs to be a bit more vulnerable in a child. Okay, we're gonna talk about Zoe in just a moment. So they go on a triple date, a quadruple date, if you will. It's Kadian, Sharice, and Trinica. Trinica comes in with her cast on per usual. And LJ, Zoe, and Justice. Only person Jamila. That's what made it a quadruple. So they come in and they're going to do some go-karts. They're going to just have some fun times today. So they go on the go-karts, and Zoe already told them early on that he was going to be competitive with them. He actually wanted them to get a head start so they wouldn't be complaining when they got their behind whooped. And it was all fun and games for a little bit, but then Zoe got serious out there. He got super competitive. He was bumping people. And when you do go-karts, they do have a bumper on them, but they're not really bumper cars per se. You're really only supposed to be racing them, and those bumpers are there for your protection, or if you do happen to hit each other, you can bounce off, but it's not for y'all to just be kind of like running or crashing into each other. So Trinica is just like, oh my gosh, you know, I done hit something. Zoe hit me. I hit something, and my wrist was hurting for a little bit, so she pulls to the side. And when they get back, Zoe was talking about who he done spanked and who he beat and how it wasn't no competition, and he was the black NASCAR. You know, he's super duper competitive right now. Even LJ was like, you know, Zoe got a little competitive out there. I said a little. So yeah, if you gonna have fun and games with Zoe, just know that the fun part not gonna be there. It's gonna be games only, and he came to win. So Katie pulls Justice to the side, but she brings Trinika with her because she said Trinika's going to bring the peace and the zen. Why do they need peace and zen? Because Katie got some things to get off her chest. And as soon as Katie said, I have some things that I want to address with Justice, I said no. No. See, I'm kind of like, I used to kind of be like this too. Like, I felt like everything had to be addressed, and then I had to start learning with some of these guys, with some people, you just got to pick and choose your battles, especially with people who don't care. And all they gonna do is try to just get a rise out of you anyway. So it don't even matter. So him and Katie sit down, and Katie expresses to him that she hasn't received a call back from him that when she called him a couple of days ago or something along those lines. Basically, I called you, you never called me back. Justice says, no, I do believe I called you. She said, oh, no, I do believe I called you back. Then they get into a little tiff. Y'all remember when he said that Katie contacted him late at night? She's trying to explain how this phone call came about. She said that she sent somebody home, somebody named that started with a D. I forgot who that was. And Justice was just like, I don't care who you sent home. Then she starts talking about how she called him and said that if you weren't busy in the next 20 minutes, you could give me a call. And you said that you wouldn't be calling that late. And Justice says he don't really care about none of that. I mean, it's just a bunch of, well, I don't care. Well, I don't care either. Well, you did this. Well, actually, I did this. Well, actually, I said this. And it's just a circle of nothingness. It's just nothing. I don't think Katie should have even tried. As soon as the conversation started with, well, actually, I called you first. Or actually, you said, sir. Well, actually, what I said was, how are you? I would have just went ahead and ended it somewhere around one of those phrases. Because now we just getting into like little technicalities, and I just know you want to get a rise out of me. Justice even says, Katie likes me. She feeling me. She loves me. When women get irritated like that, when they angry or whatever like that at me, I already know they like me. Okay. Trinika says that some of the ladies are feeling like he's not really necessarily putting forth the effort, that he is coming off as shallow. Trinika has to make it clear that she doesn't see that about him. And I'm just like, you ain't got to set yourself apart, Trinika. Just state what it is and keep it moving. But the conversation with him and Katie doesn't really go anywhere. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if Trinika is interested in him, but I didn't think that Justice had any interest in Trinika from what I saw. So, girl, you ain't got to be working too hard to understand him, because I don't even know if he's trying to get at you like that. Anyway, Zoe and Sharice end up having an argument over there by the pool table. Sharice says that what she was trying to do was talk to Zoe and basically figure out what his game plan was, since he was on the chopping block and she too has been on the chopping block. What's your plan? Like, what are you going to do? And Zoe says he's just going to continue to be himself. There's nothing else he can do. She also asks him where they stand, and he's just like, well, I should be asking you the same question. Apparently, Zoe's a little agitated with Sharice because earlier in the day, after the whole competitiveness thing happened, she tells Trinika, barbecue him. And I don't know if there's like, a term for roast him or, cook his behind or something like that. But she was like, barbecue him basically because of what he was doing out there being super competitive. I don't think she meant it in a way like we finna get him together. I think she meant it in a way like, oh, he want to play, let's play, like that. But Zoe didn't really like that. And so he tells Sharice, like, I should be asking you the same question. I feel like our interactions and the things that we discuss and what we've done, I don't really feel like you feeling me like that. I don't really even feel like you interested like that. He feels like Sharice is fake. And then he proceeds to keep calling her fake, to which she responds like, no, now I'm not none of that. I'm not fake. All I did was ask you a question. You don't have to be going there. And then he starts getting loud with her. She's defending herself saying, look, you getting loud. You doing a lot. I'm not speaking to you that way. I wasn't meaning it that way. And now you sitting here yelling at me. You don't even have to do all of that. But what we know at this point is Zoe feels like Sharice is fake. He feels disrespected and he don't want to deal with Sharice like that no more. So yeah, I think it wasn't a good look. He definitely took it to another level. And I knew then that this was gonna be bad for Zoe. Okay, so the continued argument between Zoe and Sharice basically is just more of him saying that you fake, and I'm gonna let you know to your face that you fake. her saying, look, I ain't feeling you like that anyway. He was like, ah, ha ha, and you just confirmed it. I knew you didn't like me like that anyway. He's telling her he didn't want her. She's saying she didn't want him. She's walking away saying, you the one that's going home. You the one that need to go home. And Kadrian gets up because she want to get away from Justice anyway. She comes to talk to Zoe. LJ comes to talk to Sharice. And ladies, y'all know how men get when we start crying. They just get all confused. They trying to figure out how to solve the problem. He's like, you want some water? And Sharice is just like, he talked to me like an animal. You don't talk to somebody like that. He was being aggressive. She said she felt threatened being around him. She doesn't ever want to see him again. And LJ is just listening really and trying to get her, to stop crying. And he's like, okay, come on, let's get a drink. Men want to problem solve. They want to figure out what we can do to stop you from doing this because I can't take it. And he does end up giving her a hug. So then they kind of switch off where Kadian is talking to Sharice and Zoe and LJ end up talking. But Zoe ended up telling Kadrian, like, I ain't got nothing to say. I don't have to keep talking about it. I basically let her know what it was to her face. And Kadian said, but yeah, but can we be better than this? And can we move forward? And Zoe was like, I can move forward just fine. I just don't want to deal with her no more. All right. So y'all do agree on that at least. And when AJ tries to talk to Zoe, he tell AJ, you ain't got to say nothing to me because I'm not talking about it no more. And then he leave. So LJ come back and was like, yeah, Zoe left. He stormed off. So I guess that's the end of that. And Sharice is fine with that because she didn't want to see him anymore. Anyway, I knew that the way he reacted was going to be bad for him because it really was no reason. If you felt like Sharice wasn't really putting forth the effort, just say that. Just say that and be like, look, I just want to play pool, but I don't know if I see it for us. But it went the other way, child. Then we have Shakira meeting up with nephew Tommy to discuss the fact that her trauma was shared by Kadian with one of the gentlemen, and she was not ready for that story to be shared with that man. She would rather do those things herself. She had also heard that her story had been shared with other men in the process by some of the ladies, and she just does not appreciate that. Nephew Tommy says that our stories should be our stories to share. That should be something that you get to share when you're comfortable, and you be vulnerable when you're comfortable. So he's gonna address it. He's gonna give her a night off. I have empathy. I really do, you guys. I have a lot of empathy for Shakira. I just don't think she needs to be here. I don't think she needs to be on this show. This show is not good for people who have a lot of anxiety or who are dealing with depression because it's a very competitive show. It's very gossipy. It can get very petty. And I just don't think, just at the level of sensitivity that she's at as well, I don't believe that this is the place for her. Me outside looking in, I don't believe she's ready to date. I do believe her trauma has hurt her in a way where she's almost become it. And it's kind of hard to date when you are in fear of somebody being scared of your trauma, when you lead with your trauma, and when you automatically assume, like, I've been through all of these things, nobody's gonna want me, nobody's gonna like me. That's some different stuff that you gotta address. You guys remember when I was having low self-esteem issues last year? That stuff would manifest in my dating and in my relationships, and men don't like to hear you talk down on yourself like that. Most men like a very confident, most people don't like to hear you talk down on yourself, man or woman, because it's uncomfortable. And I wouldn't say she talked down on herself, but she just doesn't, it almost seems like she doesn't believe good things are possible for her. And I just don't think this is the right environment right now for her. But I'm still watching, so we're going to see what happens. All right, so the next day is between Looney, Samson, Brandy, and Mike. And Mike came through. I bet y'all wasn't ready for the cutoff denim jean shorts. Were you ready for it? They were black, but I saw the denim and I saw the cutoff. Anyways, him and Brandy, the date's going well until him and Brandy start acting like they the only people on this picnic, child. They licking fruit, they dangling fruit, they kissing, they all in each other's face, and it's kind of awkward. So Samson is like, let me create a distraction because it's getting hot and heavy over there. And he says, you want to play a little frisbee? So him and Looney get up. They go play some frisbee. He said, you got some nice arms on you. I said, she got a lot of nice everything. Even in that black dress, we can see it. So they playing a little bit of frisbee, and then they go to the side. They have some wine. Not too heavy into the conversation. I'm not really sure how they feel about each other. I think Samson finds her cute, and I think she finds him to be a nice guy, but I don't know if there's any type of chemistry between the two yet. But Looney does have jokes when they're talking about her gym photo, because Samson was like, yeah, I seen you at the gym the other day. And he talks about how important it is to him, and it's like his coffee. He does some swimming, and she says that she hasn't swam in a long time due to her hair. But I see you don't have that problem. So that was a little joke between the two. And back on the blanket, just more feeding of the fruits. Mike lets Brandy know that he hasn't really ever done the long distance thing, to which Brandy says, we're not long distance. I live here. I live in Miami. I'm a flight attendant, and I leave and I come back. And Mike he's laughing it off, but he may want to be one of those people, and there's a lot of people like this, that prefers to have their person with them consistently. They can't really do the long distance thing. They're not going to be good at it. They like to have their person near them. So maybe this will be something they continue to talk about as we go forward. I hope that Brandy has some other interests, just because, I mean, Mike is, yeah, okay. If she likes Mike, that's cool. But Brandy, I'll hold on to that. I won't say that right now. But she seems to be very smitten with him, and he does seem to be smitten with her. The only thing is, I don't know if he's going to be able to handle the flight attendant thing. And that probably has a lot to do with why Brandy does have difficulty dating. I know flight attendant, you got to be a strong person to handle that. Not just you being able to travel like you do, but also, y'all know what people say about flight attendants and what they do. To me, it is very much, I won't say, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's kind of like a stereotype of flight attendants. That's not necessarily true. I've met girls that are flight attendants, and that's just their job, just like I work my job. But yeah, that's what's going on with them. Then was there another date? I feel like there's a date that I'm missing. Oh, it is. LJ and Trinika go out. That Trinika is quite a flirt, ain't she? Their date was cool. You know, LJ shows up in his velvet, and he says that he does want the ladies to see another side of him, so he would like to try to go deeper. Trinika does ask about his daughter, to which he says she is a daddy's girl, and she has me wrapped around her finger. She get whatever she want. Y'all, I love me a good father. I love it. I know I've said it on here before, but baby, one of my top 3 turn-ons is a good, active father. And I do mean active, okay? I don't do them half-time. I don't do them part-time, half-time, no-time daddies. I don't like it. But she says that she appreciates how much he is in it to win it with his daughter. She comes from a blended family, so she has dated a man with children or a child before. And she's just really glad to see that his daughter is number one in her life. So yeah, the date was cool. They still have a little bit of flirtation going on. I definitely see some chemistry with them. But Trinika, I think she could muster up some chemistry between anybody, because like I said, she's quite the flirt. And next, we are going to have the ladies meeting up in the lounge with Tommy, so we could decide who's going to get to stay and who's going to go. All right, so finishing up, the ladies meet with Nephew Tommy. They talk about how their dates went. Nephew Tommy does kind of address the situation, but not directly with Shakira and Kadian. It was basically, y'all know how mamas used to do. What goes on in this house stays in this house. Kadian is rolling her eyes and saying that this isn't a therapy session. If Shakira says anything in front of the ladies, then she should almost expect that it's going to get out, because we're not here to be her therapist. Now, listen, I get what Kadian is saying on a logical tip, but I also get the other side of it. Like, we don't have to go discussing what's talked about in the ladies' lounge, but this is also why I say that this is not a place for Shakira. And when I saw the preview for next week, it let me know that this is even more so not a place for her. What connections does Shakira have? Does anybody even connect with her? It's not the place for her right now. I just don't think she needs to be here. And from what I see next week, it's not going to go well with her and Kadian. Anyways, you guys, Brandy enjoyed her date. Who else enjoyed their date? Trinika enjoyed her date. Those are the goods. What went wrong? Okay, this is what went wrong. Sharice does discuss what Zoe had to say to her. Y'all, when she did Zoe, none of your business. Hell, That was funny to me. Kadian is again, she's rolling her eyes and saying that you can't say something to a man and instigate a situation and then want to play the victim. To which Sharice says, I mean, I don't really care nothing about what you're talking about. The way that he came at me was uncalled for. If Shakira's not next on the chopping block, it's going to be Sharice or Kadian. But for some reason, I feel like it's going to end up maybe, well, I don't know. I can't call it between the two of them. But I do feel like Kadian, I'm not going to say, I wouldn't really count her. I don't know. I just feel like Kadian is just one of those girls. You ever met somebody who grew up with a lot of brothers and like they could see the male perspective almost to the point where you might think they got a little bit of a boy in them? That's almost what Kadian gives me. But she says she's been talking to Zoe all weekend and she feels like she got to understand his side. And look, I understand Zoe's side too, but still the way he acted, just, even if a woman was to act that way, I would still say you probably going home because it was uncalled for. You didn't have to do all of that. So I don't really care about if you got his side or not. And some of the other ladies say Zoe as well. That they're not really feeling him. There's some ladies, of course, that are not feeling Justice, but LJ showed up as most improved because everybody felt like he put forth a little more effort, except for Kadian, where she says she feels like LJ is almost scared to talk to her. But right now it's looking like it's going to be between Zoe and Justice. So they get to the little separate dates that they have to have where you have to let the gentleman know who's staying and who's going home. And baby, I guess that doggone Alonzo say, I'm gonna just go ahead and just 86 the whole thing. I'm not showing up. I'm not coming. Y'all not finna embarrass me on TV. I bet you Zoe was sitting at home somewhere in his drawers eating popcorn, pointing at himself in the mirror saying, I am the prize. So he didn't even come. Justice does show up. What is it that Trinika is seeing with Justice? Like, I don't understand. Even the way that he looks at her or when she touches him, he just doesn't seem to respond, like how she grabbed his hand and said that she understands his language. Justice looked at that girl like she wasn't even sitting there. It's almost like he was looking past her. I don't think he's interested in any of these women, past possibly getting some booty. Other than that, I just don't think he's interested in them. He doesn't show up interested. He doesn't seem interested. Trinika, girl, what are you doing? You coming off as like a covert pick me. Like, what are you doing? Talking about, I understand your language and a lot of ladies don't understand your language. Stop trying to make yourself the special one just because you think you got a connection with him. I don't think he has a connection with anybody unless y'all in private, like maybe he's awkward on camera or something. I'm trying to find a reason as to why you might think this, girl, but I just don't see it even when he's sitting on camera with you. So yeah, Trinika, girl, stop it. So because of the process of elimination and he didn't even come, Zoe ends up being the one that's going home and Justice is saved yet another week. What did you guys think about this week's episode? I did want to mention one thing that I'm concerned with. I am concerned with, as we go through eliminations, Looney is going to end up being seen as the homie. Because right now, even though I think she is funny and she's jokey and she knows how to have a good time, I'm just starting to wonder if that's all the fellas are going to see her as, somebody to chill with. But we're going to see. Y'all let me know what you thought about this week's episode. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all for the next one. Bye.